Hello everyone and welcome back to Unity Cheat Codes. So first thing you want to do is rename the assets to sprites. That was just a small mistake for me. Ignore the little guy in there, and I did make another script in player. Just create script, call it player jump zone. Then go into your player movement script first of all, and then if movement x is smaller than 0, well greater than 0, sorry, then transform local scale equals new vector3 1, 1, just like that. Copy it, paste it, change this to smaller than, and then change the first one to -1. Now all this does is flip the player left and right. So sorry, you can see there's an eyeball, it's a jump zone. Let me get rid of both of those. Now in the player I was just testing things around. Go 2D object on player, so right click the player, and then sprites square. Let's just call it eyeball like it was before, and then change all the scales to 0.2. Well, yeah, just the scale, and then change the color to black or whatever color you choose. Drag it to wherever you want, and now if you press play, wait first, order and layer make it 1 so it's always on top of the player, just in case. Now the player flips, just as easy as that. So now a player obviously indicates which way he's moving, which is really good for feedback, and it's just satisfying. Now of course what you're going to want to do next is make the script I said about making it start called player jump zone, and then on the player make an empty game object, call it jump zone, and then it'll be right in the middle of the player. Not always, but yeah, it's there. Give it a box collider 2D, make sure it is trigger, just like that, and then click edit collider, zoom in a little bit just to see things, and then drag the top line down, drag the bottom line a little bit down, drag it in a little bit. It's just because you don't want the player jumping when he really shouldn't be, so it's just a little bit safer. That's fine, that's done. So now on your jump zone, drag in player jump zone, and now go back into your player movement script, not the jump zone one just yet, and then make a public bool can jump, and just make it equal to false. So a bool is just true or false, and we're making it false by default just because, I don't know, maybe someone makes a weird level. So go into your player jump zone. Of course there'll be the start and update empty stuff, just remove it all, and then there are 2 ways of doing this. So I'll show, well, there's multiple ways. It's just the 2 ways I find most comfortable, especially for beginners, is you make a public game object with the capital G, just call it player, and then go back into Unity, and now, of course, if you've never done this before, just watch. So you go back onto your jump zone, and you'll see there's a none game object. So you drag in the player, and now you can use that for whatever you want. And then let's do on trigger enter 2D. So of course that means when that box collider, which is a trigger, touches something, it'll trigger it and do this function. So if collider dot game object dot compare tag ground, so when it touches the ground, then player, oh sorry, I misclicked, player dot get component player movement, which of course is the player movement script up there, dot can jump equals true. So you touch the ground so you can jump again. And now we copy it, we paste it, and we replace enter with exit. Sorry if the errors scare you a little bit. It used to scare me at the start. And then change can jump to false instead of true. Of course, because he's leaving the ground, so he's not allowed to jump anymore. So now, well, there's not going to be a change yet, but I just want to show. So when this little green box touches the grounds box, then of course it's going to trigger it. So we go back in, go into player movement, and here where it's space to jump, say and can jump. So if can jumps true and he presses spacebar, then he jumps. So there's two conditions. So now if we go back in, just zoom out a little bit, get a better view. If I press play, now again, player can, as you can hear, just spamming my spacebar, just as an example. But now your player can only jump once. So there's the most simple platform mechanics already done. So now let's go back in. I'm going to show a different way of doing this, my preferred way, and that is making this a private game object, and then make a start, and say player equals game object, make sure it's capital G, dot find game object of tag, make sure it's not game objects, otherwise it's not going to work, and then player. So whatever's called player, it'll reference that. So now it'll still work, and that's how I'm going to keep it. That's my preferred way of doing it. Now same thing, you can jump once, and it's just, it just saves a step, because now when you're in your editor, you don't have to drag things in to do stuff. You just do it in there. Tags can get a little bit annoying, but that's my preferred way. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll bring out the next episode very soon. See ya.